Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. I'm gonna ask you, how is the mic? How is the sound? Does it sound better? I'll start now, Zayed. How does it sound? Better? How is that audio for you? Everybody's my voice clear? Is it no longer robotic? Okay. Oh, excellent. Looks like it's gonna work this morning. So I'm making up for Monday's class this morning because the audio was bad. The audio was bad, and I don't see that I have another class coming up. So I'm going to go for 2 hours. I'm going to let this stream continue for 2 hours this morning. So that we'll have a long class because we missed one last time. So we're going to do reading and vocabulary this morning. And good morning to you all, or good afternoon, or good evening. For some of you, you're close to the holiday of Thanksgiving. I still have a day to go for Thanksgiving. It's tomorrow in my time. And it's a big food holiday. It's a big family and food holiday. And I'm always reminded you're also supposed to give thanks for what you're thankful for. And I'm thankful for all of you students out there who are watching these videos. It's great to have you here, as usual. I have my coffee. Okay. What do I want to show you? I guess I want to talk a little bit this morning. The story I was trying to tell you last time, at the beginning of last class, was that I just discovered here in beautiful downtown Spokane. I guess I'll put that on the map there. In beautiful downtown Spokane, here we are. Here's Spokane. Here's where I live. And we're downtown here. We're in the downtown area. Right about here. Right about here. I didn't know that the parking meters were free before 8 o'clock. So every morning I would plug quarters in to the meters when I came to work. As it turned out, they would have no effect. So I've been giving the city a lot of free quarters, but I don't think they're going to give me a refund on that. I don't think I'm going to get my money back. Anyway, also this morning, I know I always talk about the weather. The rain is just coming down in sheets. The rain is coming down it's just a solid wall of rain out there. It's so heavy. The rain is so heavy this morning, and it's also very foggy. So visibility is low. So dark, rainy, and foggy this morning. Not really cold, though. It's not too cold. It's just dark, rainy, and foggy this morning. Kind of cool. Because there was no traffic. It's so early here. No traffic. There was no traffic this morning. So it was easy. Yeah, remember to like this video. And here is, I don't know if this map gives you a good indication of what's going on. This is downtown, and we do have a park downtown. And the river flows on the north side of downtown. So on the north side, we have a river, and this river kind of divides North Spokane to South Spokane. And just south of the river, of course, is downtown. This is the downtown area. We do have an arena where you can see concerts or hockey games. So we do have an arena. I'm going to keep going out. And of course, west, we have West Spokane, and that's kind of where Spokane stops. We don't go too far west. You'll notice a lot of parks here, but we do go pretty far east. In fact, Spokane Valley is a different city. It's considered a different city. It all used to be one city, and then it split not too long ago. Maybe about, when I say not too long ago, I want to say about 15 years ago. maybe more than that, maybe about 20 years ago now, the valley split. And you'll notice on a map it isn't marked different. Oh, there it is. But here, Spokane Valley is a different city. So it's two different cities, Spokane and Spokane Valley. Although there's nothing really separating them. The streets still combine them. We still have Interstate 90 going through them. I'm going to keep going out. Now I'm going to go very far out. Okay, here's Washington State. Spokane is on the east side of Washington State. Here's Idaho. Gonna keep going out. And below, south of Washington, is Oregon, the state of Oregon. And here's the biggest city in Oregon, Portland. And that's where I'm going today. After I'm done teaching these classes, I will be going to Portland, Oregon, to visit my family. My sister lives in Portland, Oregon. And of course, because of the holiday of Thanksgiving, one thing you have to do is visit family, and you have to eat food and give thanks. So that's what I'm doing today. It's a long trip. I think I'll take 90 most of the way, then I'll go on to 82, pass the border here. There's a little town called Boardman that you pass through, and then I'll hit 84 and get to Portland. Okay, are we? That's it's my little Northwest American geography lesson this morning. And I used to live in Seattle over here. And if you take 5, you notice I-5, if you take I-5, you can get all the way to California. So we have a major interstate here that connects California, Oregon, Washington, up into Canada, and goes all the way to Vancouver. So a major interstate there. Okay, that's enough about streets. I'll take the maps off. I guess, are you ready for a lesson? Last time I was going to do reading, so let's start with the reading lesson. There's the link. There's the link to the reading lesson I shared with you in the class notes. Okay, as always, I start with the links. If you have any questions about these classes, about the Smrt Live classes, about the subscription services, you can always contact Zach at this email address. If you want to know more about these Smrt Live classes, you can click on the next link. Let me log in with my Google account. Oh, that's just the front page. That's just the front page here. Let me grab the actual links and put them in there. That's an old link. There. Let me grab the new links and put them in there. Oh, how come here. I'll just click on it. There we go. You can subscribe to classes where you'll get homework, you'll get quizzes, you'll get an exam at the end, you'll get a certification, let me say that word right, you'll get a certification, you'll get to talk with the teachers, email them, and also have chats with them. We have pre-intermediate English with Nicole, intermediate with Mark, upper intermediate with me, and English for academic purposes with Josh. So, no, we're going to do reading. It's not all geography. It's not all geography. I just wanted to start and just a little bit of talk time with you this morning. This is the class where Nicole, Josh, and I work. This is the Spokane College of English Language. You can click on that to learn more. And then finally, you probably know this, we do have our YouTube page where you can go and look at all the videos we make. And you also see some videos from Sean here as well. So there's an additional teacher creating videos on Smrt Live. So many videos. Go back and watch them all if you can. think I'm missing another link. I am. I forgot my Facebook link on the notes, so let me add even one more. If you click on this one, you'll see our Facebook group. If you have not, I know a lot of you have, but if you have not yet, please join our Facebook group on Learn English on Facebook, where we post mini questions and quizzes and all that good stuff. And you can continue to talk with your friends from around the world, just like you do in the chat room here. Nitesh, you're asking any fellowship? Do you mean any scholarship to get into college? Go ahead and check out this page. Check out the usaenglish.com page. I should include, because you're asking questions like that, I will also include in the class notes maybe Josh's email. I should include our registrar's email, even though I think you can find it here. If you go here, you can contact us from this page right here on contact. So please, if you have any questions about the school, about coming here, please contact us and we will be happy to get back to you. I'm Neal Hallgarth. As always, I have not changed my name. I am a teacher here at SEEL. I've also taught English composition in university to American students. I've taught basic computer skills to senior citizens. I've taught Excel and PowerPoint to professionals. So I've taught computer and English classes in my past. So that's my teaching experience. I started teaching ESL about 7 years ago now, and I've been teaching it ever since because it's fun. Okay, if you're having problems with your internet, you can try to lower the resolution on your computer. It might not look as good, but it may help with any latency issues you're having. Okay. We're going to do a reading today, and it'll be a short news article, and it'll be about this word here, spelling. That will be our topic today. First, let's cover some of the vocabulary that's going to come up in the reading that we do. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 words: emphasize, established, consistent, imply, proper, consequence, and clarify. And I was wondering if maybe you could help me with the meaning of some of these words. Off the top of your head, do you see any words here that you recognize immediately, that you already know? Are you already familiar with any of these words? I'll give you some time to think about it. I'm sorry my robotic voice is gone this morning. I kind of liked it too. I kind of liked the Transformers voice I had, kind of the scary alien robot voice. It was cool. I should have just taught the whole lesson like that. You know all of them. Well, help me out then. What are some good synonyms? Can you give me some good synonyms for these words that I can include in the class notes here? And also, not just synonyms, can any of you give me the parts of speech on these words? Good. Clarify, to make clear. Good. You see this word clar. Of course, it's very close to clear. Yeah, clarify, to make clear. I'm going to also put maybe to make clearer or more clear. Imply. We have the word here, involve. Another word I would say is suggest. Suggest something. Don't say directly. Emphasize, accentuate. I would say to stress, not the meaning of the bad kind of stress, the stress to maybe put more focus, more voice, more volume on a specific word or syllable so your listeners can hear it very clearly. Emphasize is something we do in speaking or writing to make something more noticeable. Consequence, negative result. We often think of it as negative. Consequences is negative. They're actually just results. But yes, you're right, Rosa. Consequence, when we use that word, we're often using it in the negative. It's often used in the negative. Consistent. Of course, you have to be continuous to be consistent. Proper, that's a good one. Appropriate. Establish, yeah. Set up or start. Emphasize. Intensify. Emphasize. To make sure, yeah. To make sure. To make more sure. What else do we have here? Proper, good. To do, yes, establish. Maybe to start something. Consequence, yeah. Result of an action, maybe. Emphasize. To push more on something, that's good. To push more on something. How about the parts of speech on these? How about the parts of speech? Do you know any of the parts of speech off the top of your head? And when I say off the top of your head, this is an idiom we use off the top of your head to mean off the top of your head, like from memory. Think in the moment. So if I say off the top of your head, it means without looking something up, without having to do research. Do you have that information in your head? Do you have that information available right now? So off the top of your head, do you know? Okay, good. Here we go. Let's see. Emphasizes verb. Good. Establish. Noticeable is, let's see, how about established? Clarify is a verb. What else do we have? Imply is also a verb. Lots of verbs here. Proper, right thing to do. Good. Consistent. Sequential. Sure. Consistent. Adjective. Good. Consequence. Noun. Excellent. How about established? How about established? Good. A past tense verb or an adjective. Excellent. Good job. Good job, everybody. Oh, what about proper? Did we get one for proper? What is proper? How about proper? What part of speech is proper? I'll answer that one. It's an adjective. Proper is an adjective. So there's our parts of speech. So I've been asked an example of emphasize in real in real life. So let's do an example for emphasize. Okay, here's an example sentence. A teacher emphasized the importance of taking notes during lectures. So here the teacher, to emphasize, is probably repeating how important it is to take notes, is reminding the students to take notes before the lecture begins, maybe is giving some tips on the skills of taking notes, like don't write complete sentences, just write the important parts, basically writing in shorthand, writing in abbreviations, and even symbols. So the teacher emphasized the importance of taking notes during lectures. The teacher says it again and again, reminds the students, also maybe gives them some skills to help them take notes during lectures. Okay, let's go on. I think we're doing good on the vocabulary. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question. Based on this word here, spelling, the name of the article is simply spelling, and then these words, emphasize, established, consistent, proper, consequence, and clarify. What is this article about? Let's predict. Let's predict. What is this article about? So before we begin reading, a good skill to develop, and I'm emphasizing this, is always predict what the article is going to be about. So seeing these words and knowing that the article is about spelling, what else can it be about? Not just spelling. Can we maybe guess something more specific than just spelling? We take that word spelling and we match it with these words: clarify, consequence, proper, imply, consistent, established, and emphasize. Maybe can we get a little more specific than just spelling? Good. Maybe it's about how to improve your spelling. Maybe it'll give us some tips. Okay, a couple guesses. Diari, Rosa, how to improve spelling. A guide to spelling or writing. I'll try to say your name correctly. Fahar or Fajr. I think Fahar is going to be my guess there. Yes, emphasize. When we yell at somebody, sometimes we're trying to emphasize a point. You can raise your voice in volume, or you can emphasize a particular words to help emphasize something. Any more guesses about what this article, any more predictions? Can you predict what this article might be about? Based on spelling, we know it's going to be about spelling, but anything more specific when we look at these words: clarify, consequence, proper, imply, consistent, established, and emphasize. Can we get more specific in our guesses? Can we predict something more specific? What will this article be about, do you think? And of course, we know spelling is the basic, the general idea of what this is about. Good, how spelling can affect our writing. I like that, actually. I like that prediction. Good, how spelling can convey meaning. Okay, that looks like our predictions so far, our guesses about what this article will be about a little more specifically than just the general overall topic of spelling. Now it's time to read. We made our predictions, we saw some of the words, now it's time to read. But before we read, maybe we can do a short exercise. I'll bring the exercise down here and I'll make it a little bit smaller. Can you fill in the blanks A through G using our vocabulary words? I'll give you a couple minutes to do this, and I will be right back as you fill in the blanks A through G, and go ahead and write your answers in the chat. I'll be right back. Okay. No sound issues. I forgot to turn on the mic. That's my bad. So I put in a few more predictions that you typed in the chat room. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I had to turn on the mic. Okay. It's very early. It's very early for me. I'm just waking up. Let me get another sip of coffee. Let's work backwards now. Let's work backwards. I'm not sure I understand your opinion. Could you clarify? G is clarify. If you don't understand somebody's opinion, of course you're going to ask them to clarify. Please make more clear. Please make your opinion more clear. I don't understand. There will be consequences, and I'm going to make this plural. I'm going to put an S at the end because consequences are countable, but I don't have the article the or a, so I have to make this word plural. So consequences. And Rosa, thank you for showing up early for this lesson, so I'm not just talking to myself or just talking into the camera alone. E, it is difficult to read this email as my cousin doesn't spell consistently. Consistently. I'm going to make that an adverb. I'm going to make that an adverb because we have the verb spell here. It's difficult to read this email as my cousin doesn't spell consistently. Actually, okay, I'm not sure of my answer now that I look at it. Either my cousin doesn't spell consistently or my cousin doesn't spell properly, one of the two. And then that would make C one of the two, either consistent or proper. Communication is easier with consistent spelling or proper spelling. Looking at this, my guess is going to be that this should be properly, and this here is going to be consistent. It is necessary to learn the established rules of English, the established rules of English. The rules that were started a long time ago and are continued to this day. She said that she was busy, but she implied that she didn't like him. Sometimes when you ask somebody to do something and they keep saying, they're busy, they're too busy, maybe it's a suggestion that you don't say directly that you just don't like the person. And I think we've all had that before where, you want to do something with somebody, you're trying to communicate with somebody, and the answer is always, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. That might imply that they don't like you. However, that's not always the answer, but there's that implication. They are implying something. In my class, my teacher really emphasized clear pronunciation. In my class, my teacher really emphasized clear pronunciation. The teacher reminds the students again and again that they need to work on pronunciation, and the teacher's going to help with them. Teacher's going to say, okay, repeat after me, class, emphasize clear pronunciation. Emphasize. Okay, let's continue. Now it's time to read. As I read, think of a short summary, maybe a one-sentence summary we can make out of the paragraph. We talked about summary before last week. So remember, you're looking for the most important parts. You're looking for, in this paragraph, the most important parts. And again, I know it's easier to summarize once you've read the whole article, but we're going to go slow. We're going to do it one paragraph at a time. I'm going to read out loud. Hopefully you can see that on the screen behind me. Go ahead and follow along and think of maybe a short one-sentence summary we can make out of this paragraph. How important is spelling? One British academic thinks it may not be so important. He claims English teachers, scholars, and linguists have been wrong to emphasize the need for correct spelling. He has suggested that various spellings of words should be acceptable if everyone can easily and effectively communicate. Is there any harm if occasion were spelled with two S's? Or would the world end if the I and E were reversed in such words as foreign, weird, or neighbor? Okay, how about, what is this paragraph about? Just this paragraph. Let's just focus on this first one. What would be a good summary of this? One way to do this, one way to do the summary, maybe we won't summarize the questions. We won't summarize the questions. These are rhetorical questions, meaning questions the author asks to make us think, but we really don't have to answer these. They're questions used as an example. So let's concentrate on this part in order to get our short one-sentence summary. Good, Rosa, that's very good. Conveying a message is more important than correcting spelling mistakes. Yeah, this paragraph suggests that communication is important. Diari, that's also very good. Spelling rules can be simplified. So one British academic thinks that spelling is not so important. Communication is important. And spelling, yeah, maybe not so much. Yeah, meaning is more important than spelling or pronunciation, as long as we have clear communication. Okay, what does harm mean? That's a good question, Far. What does harm mean? Harm means hurt, do damage, like make a mistake, have a consequence for a mistake, hurt or do damage. Do we do any damage if we misspell a word like occasion? Yeah, this person is saying, is spelling really important as long as communication is clear? Okay, let's look at the next paragraph. So again, the same thing. Let's think of a short one-sentence summary for this next paragraph. Not everyone agrees, however. Even if English may have many exceptions to established rules, those rules still exist for a reason. Communication is easier with consistent spelling. Good spelling goes hand in hand with good writing, which implies that the reader shouldn't have to reread sentences to understand the meaning of the writer. Most academics agree that spelling is just as important as good grammar. Vivek, you're a very quick reader. Spelling is as important an aspect to writing a sentence. So this one is a little bit opposite, isn't it? Now this one, not everyone agrees with that first British academic from paragraph 1. Not everyone agrees that spelling isn't that important. Here, they think spelling is important. Fahir, when someone broke my heart, can I say it's harm? Yes. Someone breaks your heart, they harm you. They're doing harm to you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Mohammed. Hello, Mick D. Device. I'll share the class notes with you again in the chat. Sawadi, this is good. Correct spelling helps to make flow for readers. Yeah, it's easier to read something that's spelled correctly than something that's spelled incorrectly, of course. So I'm going to share the class notes that we're working off of with you one more time in the chat room. Spelling is as important as writing, of course. Spelling is important just as grammar is important. Correct grammar is important. So is correct spelling. Good, Shari. Good, these are good one-sentence summaries. So we've had 2 paragraphs now. One says spelling's not so important. Another one says spelling is important. Yeah, they are contradicting each other. Okay, let's look at the third one, third paragraph. Again, think of a one-sentence summary for this paragraph. With the popularity of text messaging, in which people ignore proper spelling and grammar for speed, it's become more important than ever to follow spelling rules. What would your impression be of an official letter from the bank or local government with words spelled strangely? Or how would you feel about a glossy business pamphlet which introduced you to a company's products and services, but with numerous spelling mistakes? Equally important, yet also more troublesome, would be a poorly written business letter or email. What might the consequences be then? So how about for this third one? I'm adding a few more here. How about this third one? Yes, now we're talking about the consequences, one of our vocabulary words to begin this. Now we're talking about the consequences. About any other ideas for this third paragraph? Spelling is one of the language skills that has to be mastered. Yes. Yes, we're talking about the importance. So this kind of goes with the second paragraph. Again, this third paragraph is agreeing with the second paragraph that spelling is indeed important, One thing, if we look at here, we're going to look for some repeated words. Here we have official letter. Here we have business letter or email. Here we have business pamphlet, bank, government. So when we see words like this, what might we think? Good, Shari. Good spelling is important in the business world, right? AKA the real world. I would say then a word we would use for this is spelling is important for professional writing. If you want to be considered a professional, someone in business, someone in government, and someone who is able to communicate with business and government, spelling becomes very, very important. Here we have company. If you're trying to communicate to a company, or you work for a company and are trying to communicate, or if you're a company and you're trying to communicate to consumers, to clients, spelling becomes very, very important. It becomes crucial, meaning crucial is like a life and death situation. It could be very, very bad for business if you have improper spelling, if you have misspelled words. Good. Good, Rosa. We're talking about modern writing, the effects of modernization over correct spelling, because they did talk about texting. Of course, in texting, you don't have to spell correctly. You're going for speed. Spelling is so important in formal writing. If we want to write formally, then we need to practice our spelling if we want to be considered good formal writers. So I'm adding some more one-sentence summaries that you've written here. Am I okay? Of course, I am very, very tired. I woke up early. I woke up very, very early this morning, but I'll be okay. Yes, crucial is essential. I'm always tired in this morning. I am not a morning person. I'm a night person. That's why I'm drinking lots of coffee. And I hope you're not tired as well. I know for some of you it's evening. It's getting close to your bedtime. So thank you for those of you who are staying up with me as I wake up early to do this. Okay, last paragraph. Let's look at the last paragraph. It all comes down to communication. In face-to-face conversations, it proves relatively easy to clarify or explain an idea. Visual clues and tone of voice also help. But written emails and letters require rules for quick comprehension. Despite one academic's wish, spelling can't be ignored. And comprehension means understanding. Comprehension means understanding. So how about, this is a short paragraph, so our summaries of it can be short. How does this article end? What point is it ending on? What point is this article ending on? What do you think? What do you think? And of course, I'll let you think about that. What do you think for the short last paragraph? Hello to all of those who are just joining us. We are finishing our reading, but stay tuned. I'm going to keep teaching. I'm going to switch to vocabulary in a few minutes here. We're going to have a longer 2-hour session because the audio did not work for me Monday morning. So we'll be going a little bit longer. Good, we have some summaries here. Comparison between spoken and written language shows that we should follow spelling rules in writing. Spelling plays an important role in business writing, and it could be taken for granted if it's informal. Spelling can't be ignored by the writer. Spelling can't be ignored in academic writing. And they did talk a little about speaking, about pronunciation is also important. Yeah, this is just supporting. So we've gotten two sides. It began with one side, and now we are getting back to the point to that spelling is indeed important. So we know this article is emphasizing the importance of spelling because that's the point they're ending on. That's their conclusion. They presented both sides, but they're concluding in this last paragraph that spelling is indeed important. So I'll put a few more summaries in here. And there's no one right answer for summarizing. Every reader will have a different summary. And then I would say at the end, now that we've read the whole article, what's it about? Maybe despite some argument, spelling is important, especially in professional writing. I would say, so maybe I would come up with one summary for the whole article. Despite some argument, so I am acknowledging that first paragraph, I'm remembering the first paragraph, spelling is important, that's what the whole article says, I think, and they emphasize especially in professional writing. That's where it is most important. Okay. If we can remember what we read in the article, what would you say for these statements? Let's look at the first one. A, one British academic thinks that other scholars and linguists are wrong about spelling. Was that true or false? Was this first one, was it true or false? One British academic thinks that other scholars and linguists are wrong about spelling. What do you think? Was that true or false according to the article? Actually, this one is true. The one British academic was in the first paragraph. I think he was the exception to other scholars and linguists. I think most people are in agreement that spelling is important. He thinks they're wrong. He thinks spelling wasn't important. So he thinks people are wrong about spelling, that spelling is important. He thinks it's unimportant, that communication is important. How about B? Many academics are angry about how words are spelled now. What would you say? According to the article, is this true? Many academics are angry about how words are spelled now. Actually, this one is false. We could say like that one British academic, but we don't even know if he is angry. I don't think he had anger. But many academics, definitely not. Many academics are not angry about how words are spelled now. Most academics, even though there is some disagreement, most academics are okay with the way things are spelled now. So that one is going to be false. They are not angry, and there are not many academics. Let's look at C. Spelling words correctly is part of writing well. What do you think? Spelling words correctly is part of writing well. Generally, yes, of course, this article would say true to that one. It's important to spell words correctly because it makes communication easier. How about D? It's important to spell words correctly because it makes communication easier. Again, according to this article. Actually, this one's going to be true. Maybe not spoken communication, of course, but written communication, it does make it easier. It may not be the most important part to communication, and communication is possible with incorrect spelling, but let's look at this word. It does make it easier. It does make it easier. So that one's going to be true. Finally, E, according to the article, face-to-face communication needs rules too. According to the article, where did it say face-to-face? In this one. In face-to-face conversation, it proves relatively easy to clarify or explain an idea. So thinking of this sentence, visual clues and tone of voice also help. So would you say, according to the article, face-to-face communication needs rules too? Yeah, I would agree. This one's false. They didn't specify it. You're right, Swati. They didn't specify. But I think according to the article, face-to-face communication, there are some things that are important to it, but does it need hard and fast rules like spelling? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. There are some things that are important for face-to-face communication, but does it need so many rules? No. Generally, no. Again, according to the article, they say it's relatively easy to clarify or explain an idea. Visual clues and tone of voice also help. I don't think it says so much about rules there. I don't think there's enough to say that's true. Okay. I want you don't necessarily have to give me the answers. These are some comprehension questions, meaning questions of understanding. Did you understand the reading? I'm going to leave these up on the board. I'm going to take a quick break, just a few minutes. I will be back for a vocabulary lesson. It's a longer lesson today. It's going to be 2 hours. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Swati, it's okay if your answers were wrong. It was just to see how much we remembered. And that was a lot of information to remember. We went through the reading very, very quickly. So, and I didn't always show the paragraphs for you to go back and look. So that's okay. That's okay. That's why we did them together. I guess before I take my short break and come back, I was a bad speller for most of my life. Even through high school, I was a horrible, horrible speller. I was a terrible speller. I could not spell correctly. And I read a lot and I wrote a lot, and I just did not understand spelling. It wasn't until university, and even after university, when I started working as a teacher, that my spelling became better. And what I did is I slowly learned how to spell one word at a time. And that's kind of how you have to do it. There are so many spelling rules in English. For me, it helped to understand the rules and learn the rules by learning individual words first. So my spelling became better over a long period of time, and it was going one word at a time. If I misspelled a word when I was typing in the computer, I would look at the corrections the computer suggested, and I would remember that word. Sometimes I would write it down because I knew, I misspelled it. I don't know how to spell that word. Maybe I better learn how to spell that word. And then I entered a spelling bee, which is a spelling contest. So I had a big book, and I learned word by word. It was like almost like reading the dictionary. And I learned all the words in the big book that I needed to know for the spelling contest. So spelling is important. I would agree it's important, and it's a long process. Be patient with it. Learn first by concentrating, by looking at, by emphasizing those words that once you know, like a computer marks it up, a teacher marks it up, those words that you don't know how to spell, and learn how to spell them. And then as you learn more and more words, the correct spelling for more and more words, you will start to understand the spelling rules better. You will see more examples. So try that. Be very mindful of your spelling when you do it, and your spelling will improve. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to go get some more coffee so I can stay awake. Oh, look at coffee cup is green, so it's see-through on the green screen. That's cool. Okay. And I will be right back for vocabulary. I'll put on the exercise music, but I'll be right back, okay? Stay tuned. Okay, I remembered to turn on the mic this time. Okay, I can't go over the answers. I'm sure your answers are fantastic. We got to get started with the next lesson. So, hey, there it is, vocabulary. I will share the link with you, the class note link with you in the chat room. We're going to be doing vocabulary this time. Thank you for your patience. Hey, even if you're late, so am I. I'm late for hour 2. I had to take a break and talk to my coworkers and get a little bit of coffee. This is hour 2. We did a reading. Hello again, everybody. We did a reading. Now we're going to do vocabulary. I told you about these links at the top, so I'm going to go straight to the vocabulary. Use that link I shared with you in the chat room. Okay, everybody, you ready? Hassan, you ready? Rosa, Fahir, everybody ready? Here we go. I'm going to use the slideshow. Of course, all this material I use is from the Smrt curriculum. For subscribing students, you get access to this Smrt curriculum, and it's vast, it's large, it's massive, it's huge. I'm on 7.1, Unit 7.1 vocabulary. This is vocabulary about learning English. So if you are in an English school, if you're in a university, in a college, this is some vocabulary you might encounter in that setting. First word, academic. It can be a noun or it can be an adjective. Academic English takes longer to learn. So when we learn English, of course, we first learn the basics, the fundamentals. But then when we want to learn academic English that can be applied to a university or college setting, even a professional setting, it takes longer to learn. And here we see a graduate. You can tell she's graduating. She's got the graduation gown on, and we call this hat a mortarboard. She's got the mortarboard hat on. She has completed academic English. She has graduated from the program. Okay, yeah, I'm glad you think this is a party. Yes, academic is formal English. Academic, if you know academic English, you should be both familiar with formal and informal English. Formal English for, like we learned in our reading last hour, formal English for professional settings like business, government, school, and then informal English when we're communicating with our friends and other people who speak English commonly. So once you learn academic English, you should have a good understanding of both formal and informal English. Of course, informal English is easier because less rules are applied. Okay, ready for the next one? Acceptable. It's an adjective. It is not acceptable to speak languages other than English in the classroom. If you are in a language school, of course you can only speak that one language. You should be practicing, thinking, writing, speaking, reading, everything, communicating in only that one language. So it is not acceptable to speak languages other than English in the classroom. Yeah, Chari, that's a good question. Academic, if you are a student, hopefully you are learning academic English. Let's say you come to the United States and you're just hanging out. You're not going to school. You just live in an apartment. Maybe you're a tourist. Maybe you're just visiting for a short while. Maybe you have a work visa and you're working and you're not going to school. You are going to learn a lot of informal English. If you go to school, you're going to learn a lot of formal or academic English. But acceptable can be accepted. The teacher says it's okay, or the boss says it's okay, or your parents say it's okay. It is acceptable, acceptable. And of course, the opposite is unacceptable. And yes, academic, all of your goals as students, because you're learning English, your goal is to learn academic English. But if you want to talk to Americans like me, you also have to be familiar with informal language. Because when we speak informal English. We don't use the rules when we speak to each other. And when we watch TV shows and movies and listen to music, formal English sometimes does not help in understanding entertainment. Sometimes we also have to understand informal English. Okay, Nitesh, you have to go eat. Okay, go eat if you have to. All right, we'll go. We'll cover some words. Go get some food and come back. We'll just be talking about words here. Next one, acquisition. Acquisition. This CQ here is going to be pronounced like a K. K. Acquisition. It's a noun. Language acquisition comes faster if you stop thinking and communicating in your native language. Acquisition it's like get, receive. Language acquisition, to get or receive language, this process will come faster if you stop thinking in your native language and communicating in your native language and just switch to the language you're learning. Acquisition is like learning. By the process of learning, you acquire, that's the verb form, you acquire language, and so you are gaining language acquisition. Acquisition is the noun form, acquire is the verb form, and adjective form we can say now you have an acquired language. So through the process of learning, you acquire a language. This is called language acquisition. So that noun kind of involves the learning process as well. Language acquisition. Next word, and of course if you have any questions I can always go back to a word. But next word, it's a word from our reading, clarify, verb. The teacher is really good at clarifying. It's a ing form. The teacher is really good at clarifying the meaning of vocabulary, making more clear, making it easier to understand. The teacher is really good at clarifying the meaning of vocabulary. That's kind of difficult to say with the ing ending. Clarifying. It's hard to put that Y in there in pronouncing that word, for me at least. Clarifying the meaning of vocabulary. So clarify is the verb form. Yes, we can change that to a gerund or continuous form or progressive form by adding the ing. Yeah, Diari, acquisition, does it mean obtain? Yes, acquisition, a good synonym for it is obtain. Yeah, we can use obtain for this one. And good, that's right, Rosa. Clarification is the noun form. So a lot of these words have different forms. So clarify, the noun form is clarification. Acquisition, yes, another form of acquisition is acquire. That's the verb form. What is the adverb form of clarify? No adverb form? No adverb form. Maybe clarifyingly? So even though I'm an English teacher, sometimes I don't know all the adverb forms. Sometimes words don't have an adverb form, but because people try to make them adverbs, an adverb form will be introduced into the language. So if I were to make an adverb out of this word, I would say clarifyingly, but that's very awkward. That's very difficult. It doesn't sound good. I would say clearly. Clearly. I would use the word clear to make the adverb, and that makes it easy. So sometimes if you're looking for the adverb form, look for an easier synonym or a different form of the word that might be easier to make into an adverb, and that's probably a better adverb form. I would not try to make an adverb out of clarify. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Here's a question from Aaron. Well, I'm glad that I can help clarify these words to you. What is the difference between academic English and classic English? Academic English is the formal, professional level of English, the university accepted form of English we are learning now, that we teach through our classes and that you learn as students. Classic English would be, I would say, an older form of modern English. So the same language. However, classic English will use different vocabulary words. The grammar will be slightly different. Even some of the punctuation rules will be different. Classic English is what you would read in literature that would come during and after the 16th century. So classic English has existed for 500 years. Shakespeare, even though it's very difficult to read and it is poetic, it's written in a poetic form, it is still modern English. It's still the same language we use today. It is classic English. There are older forms of the language that we don't use anymore. There's Middle English and Old English. And even for me, those are very, very difficult and sometimes impossible for me to read. I don't understand modern and Old English. Of course, I had to take classes in them. I had to learn them at one point. But I have to look up word by word and translate word by word for me to understand them. And that's what I did. But like starting around Shakespeare's time up until now, it's modern English. But that older form, the form that's harder to understand, that's classic English. The stuff you find in old books, that's classic English. Shakespeare, but he's still modern. Shakespeare and then the English we use today is still all modern English. It's still all modern English. Some of classic English is hard to understand because it's more poetic. It's written in a poetic form. It uses slightly different vocabulary. Even spelling, we talked about spelling. Even spelling might be a little bit different, but it's the same language we use today. And if you have the patience to look up the words you don't know, you can understand classic text. And I have to look up a lot of words I don't know too when I read classic texts. Okay, good question. Let's look at the next one. Comb, noun and verb. Of course you know the noun, there's the comb right there in the background. A comb is what people use to brush short hair. And we would say brush for longer hair, but yeah, comb. Of course you can use a comb in long hair too. It's not special for short hair. So it's the action as well. There's another meaning of this word, and maybe I will switch to the class notes real quick. Comb. It has another meaning. It's kind of uses the same meaning. So you know what it means to comb hair. What if I say I combed through the library for a classic text on fishing? What would this sentence mean? Okay, so you know what it means to comb through hair. What would it mean if I said I combed through the library? I combed through the library for a classic text on fishing. Yes, and you can comb sentences as well. You can comb the dictionary. You can comb the internet. Yeah, languages like Al-Walid, languages like Arabic are even older than English, have a longer history than English. English is relatively new when you compare it to other languages. English is newer than many, many other languages. And of course, there are languages that are even newer than English. Good, Rosa. It means you searched part of the library. I searched through the library. When you comb your hair, what it does is it separates your hair. It separates your hair and makes it easier to control than when your hair is wrapped around each other. So if you comb through the internet, you comb through the library, you comb through the dictionary, you are searching and separating until you find the exact thing you're looking for. So when you comb, you're separating until all the hairs are separate. If you comb through the library, you will find what you're looking for, that one hair, meaning that one book you are looking for. Yeah, it can be looking, searching, seeking, comb. Yeah, but I can't say I combed down the street for my friend, or I combed for a coffee shop. It has to be not just the location. It has to be a place that has many details, many pieces of information, and then you find that piece of information you look for. I combed through the phone book. I combed through the atlas. I combed through the library. I combed through the internet. It has to be something that allows us to search for information, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Comprehension, noun. The student showed, let me start over. The student showed good comprehension in class. Comprehension means understanding. So the teacher teaches and the student is able to repeat that information, or the student is able to use that information. The student showed good comprehension in class. The student can prove that they understand. They can repeat the information or they can use the information. Comprehension. Comprehension. If you can use these words, if you can use these vocabulary words, you show comprehension. You can prove comprehension, understanding. And it's the noun form, and there are other forms. Comprehend is the verb form. Comprehending can be an adjective form. Understanding, grasp, those are good synonyms. Yeah, that one's easy. Easy word, okay. Big word, big long word, but an easy word. Easy word to comprehend. Consequence, this is another one we talked about earlier. Consequence, noun. What are the consequences in your class if you don't do your homework? And here you can see the teacher taking away the phone. Yeah, it's a consequence, right? It's a result, and oftentimes a negative result. For the student, it's a negative result because they got their phone taken away. What are the consequences in your class if you don't do your homework? Of course, you know in class if you don't do homework, you don't get a grade. The teacher can't mark up your work. The teacher can't give you feedback. The teacher can't communicate back to you. That's the big consequence. Often we think the consequence is, oh, we don't get a grade, we won't pass the class, or we'll get a bad grade. Actually, the big consequence is the teacher cannot communicate back. So you don't know where you are at in your learning process. That's all grading really is a way for the teacher to communicate back. So remember that the most important thing, not the number grade, that's not what you're going for. Communication with the teacher, that's what you're going for. So the consequence is it doesn't allow for communication. Yeah, negative result. Good. Result. Consequence is a result of some action. Okay, let's look at the next word. Consistent. Adjective. Consistent. The team always wins a game and then loses a game. They need to be more consistent. They need to win more. If they win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, I guess that, in a way, is consistency on one level. That is consistent on one level. However, what they are striving for, what they want, is a consistent result, which is, for a sports team, a win. Win, 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 win. That would be more consistent. Regular. What else? Continuous. Good. Firm. Harmonic. Stable. Yeah. Consistent. Consistent. Something that can be repeated. Consistent. It's a lot of S's in there. Consistent. Regular. Think regular. Repeated. Again and again. Same result. Again and again. Consistent. Consistent. Let's look at the next word. Context. Context. Noun. To understand which meaning of reason someone is using, you must think about the context of the word. How is the word used in a particular situation? How is a word used in that sentence that you are reading? Context is, how is the word used? You have to look at all the words to understand the context of one word. So let's look at the word they're using. Reason. Reason. Reason can mean why you did something. Like, I went to the store because I was out of food. The reason I went to the store is I was out of food. But reason can also mean logic. Like, I had to reason the answer using the information I had. I had to use reason. I had to use logic, my previous knowledge to understand. So reason can mean logic. Reason can also mean why you did something. So you would have to look at the context of the word reason to understand which meaning the writer or the speaker is using. So look at all the words, look at the whole sentence, or listen to the whole sentence to understand the context that the word is being used in. Yeah, surrounding words. Good, Diary, that's a good one. Surrounding words. Think of context as all the words around one word, and then you're using all the words around to understand that one word. Maybe I'll show you an example. And maybe it will be easier for context. And there were some questions about consistent. Consistent is same result, again and again. So I'm going to go to the class notes. Let's see, where are we now? Consistent. Let's think of a meaning. Same result, again and again. That's consistent. You're going for the same result. A sports team, a basketball team, is going for a win every time. Okay, I'm going to give you a sentence. Hopefully you can see it over here. I'll put it over here. I'll give you an example sentence. Let's look at an example. I had to brush my hirsute dog's hair. I'll use one of our vocabulary words. Consistently. I had to brush my hirsute dog's hair consistently. Okay, here's a weird word, hirsute. To understand the meaning of this word, I have to look at the context in which it's used. Context means I'm going to look at all the other words. I'm going to look at the meaning of the sentence. What could hirsute mean if I look at the sentence? And the rest of the sentence is, I had to brush my dog's hair consistently. What do you think that, looking at all the other words, what do you think that word means? What do you think hirsute means? And while you're thinking about that, yes, we can say consistent. We can say a synonym might be frequency, or I might just use the adjective frequent. Good. Milena, looking at the context of this sentence, hirsute means hairy. Why would you have to brush a dog's hair consistently? Why would you have to brush a dog's hair frequently? Well, if the dog's hairy, you have to. Lots of hair. Hirsute means lots of hair. A short-haired dog, you don't have to brush as often. A long-haired dog, you have to brush a lot. So the meaning of hirsute is hairy, and we can guess the meaning of that word based on the context, all of the other words surrounding that word. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Leo, welcome. We're on hour 2. We're on a super long session. I'm glad you're back. I'm sorry the Paris traffic is so bad at this point. We're covering vocabulary, and vocabulary you might come across as you are learning English, as you are learning the English language. Good. Abud shaggy is another word for hirsute. Okay, let's look at the next word. Curse can be a noun or a verb. A curse word is the same as a swear word, a bad word, a word you should not say, a forbidden word, a word that is not polite to say. And as you can see, this little boy or little girl, we don't know actually the gender, this little kid, this little baby, this little toddler is saying a curse word, a curse word. A curse word is the same as a swear word, a bad word. This young child has learned a curse word. They are cursing. Yes, Leo, my voice is better. Audio issue resolved. Audio issue has been solved. I don't have to curse at the computer. I don't have to curse at the microphone. Everything is working. Yes, curse words are taboo words. Good, Yari. Yes, like that word, Al-Walid. I won't repeat. If you type any curse words in the chat room, I will not repeat them. I think you know what they are. I think you know some curse words in English. It seems as if the first words many people learn in another language are the curse words. Some of the easiest words to remember as you're studying another language are curse words. Some words I know in other languages are the curse words. Yes, Rosa, curse can also mean, it's like magic, it's like bad magic. It's like a consequence. If you do this, something bad will happen. Curse can also mean magic, magical consequence. Of course, not everybody believes in curses, but it also means bad words, bad words. It's an abuse of language. Please don't use bad words. No, not soup in the mouse. We might get soap in the mouth. We say to children, if you say a curse word, we'll wash your mouth out with soap. And I think parents used to do that as punishment. Never punish a child by washing their mouth out with soap. Soap can contain harmful chemicals. Don't put soap in anybody's mouth. Don't put soap in your mouth. Yes, that used to be a punishment. I think now we just give a timeout to a child, meaning go to your room, go to the corner, go sit over there quietly. We give them a time out. I think that's the common punishment now. Time out. You got to go sit quietly for 5 minutes, 10 minutes until you're ready to behave better. Time out. Time out. Okay, let's look at the next one. Dumb. Dumb adjective. It is easy to think English spelling is a little dumb sometimes. Dumb means stupid. Dumb means simple. I guess this dog is giving a dumb look. This dog looks a little dumb. I don't think so. Dog looks cute. Dumb, stupid, not intelligent. And sometimes people think the spelling rules, there's so many and so weird, especially in English. It's a little dumb. Why do we have these rules? They don't make any sense. They're dumb. Stupid. I don't want to learn them. Chari, I'm glad to see in other cultures, parents also threaten their kids by saying they'll wash their mouth out with soap. Again, never do that. Not even with organic soap. Don't put soap in your mouth or anybody else's mouth. It's not healthy. It's not good. Chili, put a chili in the mouth. That could be painful. That can be painful. Yeah, dumb is thick. Your skull is thick. Your brain is small. You're stupid. Dumb. This is kind of informal English. Students often complain, I don't want to learn this. It's dumb. It's dumb. Not worth my time. Let's look at the next one. Effectively. An adverb. Effectively. I can communicate in English effectively, but I still have a lot to learn. Effectively, you can get an effect. You can get a result. There is, you can communicate with another person. So a lot of you, through your writing, you can communicate with me effectively. And you still have a lot to learn in grammar, spelling, vocabulary. However, you are learning to communicate effectively. You can communicate with a result. When you communicate to me, I'm able to respond. I can read what you write, I understand, and I can respond back, and you can understand me. This is effective communication. You can communicate effectively. Effectively. Is swear itself a bad word? Swear is not a bad word. Swear is the action. Curse is the action of saying a bad word. So this is just the action of saying a bad word, or the category of bad words. Swear, the same thing. Swear is the action of saying a bad word or the category of bad words. Dumb is kind of slang for stupid. Like the movie Dumb and Dumber, that's correct. Effectively. Emphasize, another word we talked about earlier, emphasize verb. The teacher always emphasizes pronunciation in class. We've seen this example before. The teacher always emphasizes, he tells his students again and again, pronunciation is important. Let's work on pronunciation. Work on your pronunciation. Again and again. Let's pronounce this word together. Emphasize. Emphasize. The PH gets an F sound. Emphas. And the S will get the S sound, and the Z will get the Z sound, the Z, the buzz sound. Z. Emphasize. Emphasize. Verb. Yeah, underline. Focus. Increase volume, slow down speech. As you increase volume, emphasize. Let's pronounce. Pronunciation is important. Emphasize. To stress. Yes, to put stress on something. Emphasize. Highlight. All of these are correct. Looks like you understand the meaning of emphasize. Next word, encounter, a verb or a noun. No matter where you travel in the world, you will always encounter English speakers. Okay, so what's the meaning of this word? Let's look at the example sentence. What is the context this word is used in? Can we understand the meaning of this word in the context? So let's look at the example sentence again. No matter where you travel in the world, you will always encounter English speakers. What can this word mean? Yes, Al-Walid, some people do swear to emphasize their emotion, emphasize their meaning. Encounter, see, yeah, see is a good one. Meet, good. Like if we look at the picture, that helps us too. Pictures can help with context as well, not just words. You will always see. You will always meet. Yeah, good. English speakers, good. You can understand the meaning of this word from the context, not just the sentence, but also the picture. Yes, good. Everybody's guessing meeting. That's good. You will encounter. You will meet for the first time. You will see. You will discover. You will find. You will encounter. You will have the experience of meeting and talking to. No matter where you travel in the world, you will always encounter English speakers. That's why I think English is a desirable skill, is because many people around the world can communicate in English. Yes, be in the actual situation. Be in the face-to-face situation. Have that experience. Good. Very good guesses. All of these. It is an international language. It's used around the world. No matter, even if. Yeah, no matter is like even if. No matter. It doesn't, do not take into consideration everything else. Eliminate everything else. No matter where you are means location is not important. Location is not the important thing. No matter where you are in the world, you will encounter English speakers. No matter where you travel in the world, you will encounter English speakers. Means location is not important. The place in the world is not important. The place you travel is not important. Oh, you can't hear my voice? Uh-oh. Well, can you at least see the sentences and the pictures? Okay, let's look at the next one. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. Okay, this S is going to get the Z sound, the Z, the buzz sound. Z. Enthusiast. And this gets the S sound, the S sound, the snake sound. Enthusiastic. It's an adjective. The student is very enthusiastic in class. She really loves learning English. All right, we have two sentences. In context, if we look at the context of the two sentences, what would you guess enthusiastic means? Enthusiastic. What do you think? Look at the context of these two sentences. What do you think? Zealous. Yeah. So what does zealous mean? That's also a difficult word. Enjoy. Yeah, enjoyable. They can enjoy their time. Interested. They have enjoyment. They are interested. They are zealous. They are excited. Slang words. They are pumped. They are pumped. They are having fun. They have positive emotion. They have positive emotion. They have energy to do it. They are enthusiastic. She loves it. She has an emotional attachment to it and everything. Passionate, happy, anxious in a good way, energy, excitement, love, emotion, passion. This is enthusiastic. When you really, really are interested in something, it drives you. It keeps you going forward. You want to know more. You are enthusiastic. Yeah, zeal, zealous, focused. Enthusiastic is a very, very positive word. I am enthusiastic to teach you this vocabulary. I love talking about vocabulary. I love words. I love the pronunciation of words. I love the meaning of words. I love the spelling of words. Words are interesting to me. I feel very enthusiastic about it. I love learning new words. Vocabulary is amazing. It's excellent. It's fun for me. Yeah, well, I guess feeling relaxed. Yeah, if you're enthusiastic, you're very comfortable. You have curiosity. You're comfortable. Remember this word. This is a very, very positive word, enthusiastic. I encourage you to use this word, to add it to your vocabulary. It's a very, very good word to know. Establish is a verb. Establish. Verb. English was established as the global language because of the results of the Cold War. I didn't know that. That's a bit of history that's new to me. English was established as a global language because of the results of the Cold War. Establish. Establish. Good, Chari. I'm glad to hear you are enthusiastic about this topic. Me too. And I'm enthusiastic to teach you vocabulary. Always, always. English was established as the global language because of the results of the Cold War. We talked about establish before. Start, set up, the beginning of. Start and make formal. Start and make a rule. Start and people agree to follow it. Establish, establish. Make common. Establish. Founded, good. Agreed to be, good. Find, found, start. Establish, establish. Exception is a noun, exception. There are many exceptions to grammar rules in English. You probably know this. You learn a grammar rule in English, and then you learn an exception to that rule, where that rule can be changed, or where that rule does not apply, or where that rule is not acceptable. If you look straight up, that red, what are these, tulips? I'm gonna, maybe not, red flower. If you look at this red flower is an exception to all the other yellow flowers. The one exception, it's different. All the other flowers yellow, with the exception of that red flower. Irregular, different, rare, uncommon, strange, odd, exception. It's the exception. A different part, something different. So if I told you the grammar rule, here's a very simple grammar rule. When you write a sentence, you should always start with the subject, right? Subject, verb, object. So when you write a sentence, always begin with a subject. Sentences always begin with a subject, right? Of course not. There are exceptions to that rule. And for example, if I write a question, I should start with a question word or an auxiliary word. If I write a sentence that's an imperative, meaning a command, go clean your room, I start with the verb go. I do not need to write the subject. If I start with an adverbial, if I start with time or place, in Spokane, it is raining. I don't start with the subject. I start with that introductory material where I give location. So there are exceptions. Generally, subjects will come first when you write a sentence. However, there are exceptions to that rules. There are parts, there are clauses, there are phrases, there are words that can go before the subject, or there are types of sentences where you do not begin with the subject. So there are exceptions to that rule. Yeah, exclusion. Good. Diari, you know the imperative sentence. An exemption? Yeah, an exemption is an exception that we would remove. So exemption is an exception that we would remove or that we would allow, that we put into a separate category. So exemption is taking that exception, taking that thing as different, and removing it and putting it into a different category. So same, those two words are very much same. Little different meaning. Fluency as a noun. He speaks with such fluency, it is quite amazing. He speaks without having to stop. He speaks clearly. He speaks comfortably. He speaks at a regular pace, like a regular time. Fluency. This is a good word. We always use it when we talk about speaking a language. Fluency, very comfortable, regular time, smoothly, without pause, comfortably, without having to stop and think. Fluency. He speaks with such fluency. It is amazing. And I think we see the clouds in the background to kind of give a nice, smooth, comfortable, easy, relaxed way of speaking. Okay? Fluency. So when you talk about your ability to speak English, use this word. The better you get at speaking, the more fluency you have. Fluency. Like water, like clouds. Speak with fluency. Be fluent. Be comfortable with English. Yes, Rosa, he speaks fluently like native speakers. Fluency, fluent. Yes, without many stops. Smoothly, in a pattern with not many stops. All right. I think some of you are ready to maybe switch to, is Mark's class coming up? So maybe one word and then I'll be done. Oh, we talked about this word, harm, a noun or a verb. There is no harm in leaving the door open. It's up to you. So it means will not hurt, will not do damage. And of course, if you live in a very nice place like this, in Middle Earth, if you live in a hobbit hole, if you live in a fantasy setting, there's probably no harm. You trust your neighbors. They will not steal anything. There is no harm. There is no damage. No harm. Noun or verb. Nothing will get hurt. Nothing will get damaged. Nothing will get stolen. There is no harm. Okay, I think that's about it for my time. I'm running out of voice a little bit. I've talked a lot today, and you have listened a lot today and wrote a lot today. So thank you. Thank you to bearing with me for this extra long class. Thank you for being here for the whole time. It was great talking to you today. Have a happy Thanksgiving, even if you don't celebrate it. Eat something good. Say hi to your family. Think of something you are very thankful for. And I will see you next week, of course. It's always great to talk to you. It's something I'm very thankful for. All you good students. I'm going to remind you at 2:30 today, Nicole is going to do her class. Nicole is not going to do her class tomorrow. Her class is later today. So if you like to watch Nicole's classes, please tune in. Oh, what time is that going to be? Let's see, in 6 hours. If you have to go to bed now. Wake up in 6 hours and watch Nicole's class. Okay, so Nicole's class, yes, will start in 6 hours. Remember that, it won't be tomorrow. Nicole also has to celebrate Thanksgiving with her family. We are sometimes obligated to celebrate Thanksgiving with our family. That's why I'm going to Portland. That's why I'm traveling to Portland. I am obligated to spend Thanksgiving with my family. It is my responsibility to be with my family for this holiday. Okay? Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I hope I can reschedule and do a longer class next time. I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great day, a great week. I will see you again soon. Tune in. Remember, 6 hours. In 6 hours, Nicole's class. Okay? Yes, waking up early. Tough, but with coffee, possible. And I love that the green cup looks really weird on the green screen. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. I'll talk to you later.